Straight out of the gate, you know how the stranger has been teased to be Gandalf since season 1, quoting him directly, having a fondness of hobbits and so on. Well, the big revelation is here. After Tom Bombadil quotes Harry Potter and tells him, "The wand chooses the wizard."
The wand chooses the wizard, Mr. Potter.
"And your name also finds you." To which, after having the desert hobbits refer to the stranger as Grandelf throughout season 2, he turns around and declares himself to be
Gandalf.
I guess he misheard the desert hobbits. So there it is, Gandalf the Brown is here in a time he shouldn't exist in. I was favouring the blue wizard theory doing the rounds on the internet personally, but they backed themselves into such a corner with the stranger, it'd be a gigantic slap in the face to the audience if it wasn't, given all the blatant hints they'd been giving us. Now, I'm going to attack the rest of the episode in the same mishmash way they've dealt with the timeline. The 2 seasons long build up to the Balrog gets its payoff. Prince Durin goes to confront King Durin, who is apparently one wall away from releasing the Balrog. He chooses to go alone, which completely goes against the concept of him not being able to send the army to save Elrond and the elves, but whatever. There's a tiny bit of backstory between them both, where Durin's like, "Aye, you were always stronger than me, Papa. You let me almost beat you in arm wrestling, but I can't ever do it." Causing King Durin to, literal minutes later after breaking the wall, meeting the Balrog and removing their Ring of Power, be like, "No, son, I never let you. You were always getting stronger." And then proceed to attack the Balrog, causing a cave-in, meaning the Balrog can't get out because of some rocks. It's so dumb, it's so silly with such short payoffs. It's like the team were given 5 minutes to tell a mini story and that's it. Screw the rest of the seasons and the wider story. King Durin needlessly dies, and why take the ring off then? If there's ever a time for super dwarf strength, I think it's when you're taking on a Balrog. Just as equally dumb, we flick over to Eregion. Sauron has been torturing Celebrimbor by shooting him with arrows. And damn, he puts Boromir to shame. He's still giving back talk and everything when being hit by like 5 arrows. Sauron eventually kills him, with a hint of necromancy thrown in, and gets discovered by Adar's orcs. The Dwarven army now rocks up to save the elves and beat back the orcs, which they do with ease. They do this without being led by Prince Durin, which conflicts with the previous episode, proving that all along they could have gone to save the elves whilst Prince Durin dealt with his father. Arondir, after getting shish kebab twice by Adar in the last episode, is fine. It's like everyone forgot he was stabbed twice. He doesn't even look tired and is able to fight, kill. Nobody seems concerned for his health. I guess the team just moved on. The orcs retreat back to Adar, saying they're overrun and retreat. Adar, by the way, was in the middle of giving Galadriel her ring back as a show of good faith. It's funny how it's daytime now and not all of the orcs have their hoods up but aren't affected by sunlight. I guess it only hurts them when the writers need it to hurt them. The family orc who's been throughout season 2 has been hurt and Adar goes up to him, only to get betrayed and stabbed a jillion times by all the orcs. And somehow still lives, like a few stabs sure, but seriously, when they're going ham, he got stabbed at least 20-30 times and could still raise his hand up. I never realised elves had such high constitution. Anyway, the orcs are all in for Sauron now, but there doesn't seem to be much of a reason behind it. They didn't want to fight to begin with, which is why they betrayed Sauron. He's just going to make them fight again. At least Adar gave them a home and cared for them more than Morgoth or Sauron ever did. Are the creators trying to tell us that orcs are actually just nasty and horrible, primed for constant betrayal? But then, why spend 2 seasons telling us otherwise, showing us they have families and feelings and want peace, only to turn around and be like, "Psych, they were bad, traitorous fiends all along." We knew that before going into the show. The orcs. Moving on. Sauron and Galadriel have a fight. Galadriel loses and gets stabbed by Morgoth's crown. She falls off a cliff and Sauron takes the 9 rings of power. It ends with the High King of the Elves and Elrond using the Rings of Power to heal her, with Galadriel no longer wearing armour and more feminine robes instead, quoting Celebrimbor, saying that light is the best defence against darkness, not power. And the character development here just doesn't feel real or deserved, but at least they're trying. And trying is the best way to sum up this episode. They're trying to get things back to the lore people know, which might pay for a vastly improved season 3, but as a singular episode, it's just so isolationist. It forgets its own story and trips over itself constantly. It's taken influence from a variety of sources, including its own mind, but never really pushes deep into any of them. It doesn't pick a lane, it just jumps around, making for an inconsistent and, quite frankly, amateur final result. What a shame, what a waste, so much potential, such a poor execution in storytelling lets it down. At least now, we can finally cast this one into the fire. Take care.